The stories you are about to see are real. The rewards up to $5 million are real. This is Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous, the criminals don't. Crime Stoppers would like to show our appreciation to Corner Lot Towing for helping stop crime in the Middle Georgia region.
Richmond County Sheriff's deputies and Aiken County Sheriff's deputies need your help finding Ashley Wilson, a local Facebook friend from Midland Valley, South Carolina. Ashley Wilson hotwired or somehow stole a silver Mercedes AMG. She is 30-ish, but looks like a teenager. The pictures you see on your screen are lookalikes of Ashley, as soon as she stole the Mercedes, she also erased her Facebook account. She is a white female, about 5'5" tall, weighs about 98 pounds, has shoulder-length straight brown hair. She was last seen wearing a very skimpy white halter top and nylon shorts. Ashley is not a prostitute. She preys on older people and steals their car. Reports indicate that Ashley Wilson and other meth addicts from the Valley area may have stolen as many as 7 cars in the recent past. Almost all of these cars belong to very old people who hired them to clean, and they got the key and stole the car, and the people are too old to really do anything about it. Ashley Wilson's father is a law enforcement officer from South Carolina. Being that we didn't know these other cars were stolen and such, we were trying to get her back to her family when she stole the Mercedes AMG Sport Coupe with sunroof, before we could get her talked into going back. The Mercedes 280 she stole has a broken rear antenna and a black tag on the front with the Mercedes emblem. She is likely on Highway 421 in the Valley buying or making meth. She hangs out around Pine Park in the Valley, but with a Benz to drive now, she could be anywhere. Meth is in Augusta, too. She also favors Waffle Houses or businesses that stay open late. If you know where Ashley Wilson or the stolen 96 Mercedes AMG may be, please call the police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text and email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and keep your car. Please refer to Richmond County Sheriff's Office case number 14-20-2664. A new technique that's being used by criminals is called sliding. Unfortunately, many of us will leave our cars unlocked while standing at a gas pump. Sliders will pull alongside your vehicle and appear to be getting gas, but instead, the passenger of the vehicle exits and then low crawls to your unlocked door. Suspects then enter your vehicle, having access to your purse, your cell phone, your briefcase, or whatever you leave in plain view. In an effort to avoid being a victim of this type of criminal activity, please take the following precautions. When exiting your vehicle, always lock your doors and keep your keys in your pocket. If you believe someone is trying to target you, then immediately activate your car alarm to draw attention. Never leave your valuables sitting in the front seat where someone can walk by and grab them off the front seat or through an open window. Always keep a constant watch on everything around you, especially cars that pull into the pumps while you're getting fuel. Always park in a well-lit area so everyone can see you and you can see anyone walking around you. Routinely look around the surrounding area and make sure that no one can easily walk up to you without being noticed. If someone approaches you that you don't know, quickly enter your vehicle and lock the doors so you can safely exit the area. Make sure to use the above listed techniques to protect you and your family. It's also important to make sure that we share this type of crime prevention information with our teenage drivers that often find themselves needing to stop for fuel or who will be heading away to college at the end of this school year. There are at least still 2 car burglars that are still on the loose in this area doing this. If you know who or where they may be, please call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or email and text your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and keep your stuff. Edgefield County Police report that a dozen or more vehicles have been broken into Monday night at the Stevens Mill neighborhood near Highway 25 in Edgefield County. Victims woke up to their car doors still being open and their personal ID and things stolen, so anyone could use their identity to buy things, or worse. Victims say they feel violated. One victim said he thought his neighborhood would never have a problem with crime, but now is rethinking that position after his wife and daughter's car were both rifled through. One victim shared that if burglars have done this just feet from the front door, what would happen if they came into the house? South Carolina gun laws make it hard for a family to defend itself, and if they did, somebody might go to jail. Police say that at this time there are no suspects in any of these cases. If you know who or where these car burglars may be, please call the police or Crime Stoppers at 800-CRIME-SC, where you remain anonymous and unviolated. Richmond County Sheriff's Office is seeking information on the murder of Willie Harris Aiken, Jr. Willie Harris Aiken, Jr. was shot and killed at his residence at 413 Colorado Street on 1/13/2014. We asked several people if they knew that a murderer or murderers were still walking among us, and they told us they didn't even know anything about the murder of Willie Aiken. They said things like, well, if he wasn't out running around on the wrong side of town, he wouldn't have got murdered. Willie Aiken was shot at his own home. If he had better friends, he wouldn't have got murdered. Willie Aiken had wonderful friends and family. I didn't even know he was murdered. They'll eventually find out who murdered him. Oh yeah, you didn't even know he was murdered because the news media thought everything in the world was more important than keeping you and yours from being the next murder victims. Murderers who have murdered don't have a lot to lose by not murdering again, because that's just how they roll. So everybody knows what's happening in Hollywood. What are the latest football scores? And even who won the lottery? But very few know that their door could be kicked in at any moment, and you and your family violated or even murdered. So what can you do? Call your local TV stations and ask they start sharing Crime Stoppers 800-222-TIPS line, and what murderers or rapists or whatever violent and dangerous criminals we are trying to stop. If you go to Facebook, search for Augusta Crime Stoppers and like us. We'll send you pictures and details on all the bad guys that we have rewards out on. Since 2010, we have quietly paid out cash rewards to people like you who looked at Augusta Crime Stoppers Facebook page, saw the bad guys, called them in, and have a 100 times better chance of getting a large cash reward in just hours by calling in bad guys and murderers than you do of winning the lottery. But the best news is, if you get these murderers from all these unsolved murders off the street, you and your loved ones are in a much better position of not being murdered. If you think you know who or where who murdered Willie Aiken may be, please call Homicide Sergeant Paul Godden or Investigator Walter Garrison or any other on-duty Violent Crimes Division investigator at 706-821-1045. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and unmurdered.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Now for an update on the Travis Moore murder investigation. As you may have already seen on Crime Reports, investigators say Moore was gunned down on the 3400 block of Old Louisville Road at Fennessy Road a little before 2:30 a.m. on Thursday morning, May 26th. Witnesses say Moore was robbed and shot while on his way home from a nearby club, even though he was in his own front yard with another male and female friend who saw the whole thing. Travis's friends have set up a Facebook page in an effort to find Travis's killers called R.I.P. Travis Moore. At the time of the shooting, the suspects were described as two black males wearing ski masks. Someone may have seen stalking Travis in the Old Louisville Road at Fennessy Road area. However, new information has emerged indicating that one of the robbers may have been white. At a recent Crime Reports and Rewards party at the Roadrunner Cafe on Peach Orchard Road, one of the attendees said a lawn man mowing a lawn near where Travis was shot found a small caliber pistol and offered to sell him the handgun. But at the time, the Crime Reports and Rewards fan turned the gun down. However, after hearing that the gun could be the murder weapon, Travis's friends are waiting for the lawn guy to call this man back so we can get it into police hands for ballistics testing. Now that we know the bullet that was taken from Travis was a small caliber, Augusta Crime Stoppers is doubling our previous reward of up to $2,000 for information leading to the gun that shot Travis, or any information which may lead to Travis's killer. If you think you know how police may find who shot Travis Moore, please call investigator Blaze Dresser at 706-821-1020. Or, for more information, visit our Augusta Crime Stoppers Facebook page and submit your tip. As always with Crime Stoppers, you may remain anonymous and you will get a cash reward. Now for an update on the Hester Jackson murder, Richmond County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Blaze Dresser called a press conference on the 2700 block of Willis Foreman Road to announce a cash reward of up to $9,000 for the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the murder of 56-year-old Hester Jackson. Police are still searching for the shooter or shooters responsible for killing Mr. Jackson as he arrived home on Willis Foreman Road. Those who knew him say Jackson was a quiet gentleman who kept to himself and recently married a woman from North Carolina. AugustaCrimeStoppers.org has added another $1,000 reward payable upon the arrest of the shooters, so any witnesses that may come forth will have cash now and later should a conviction occur, bringing the total amount of the reward in the Hester Jackson case to up to $10,000. Okay, you guys are offering $9,000. We just added another $1,000 to it for Augusta Crime Stoppers. So now you can tell people that the reward is up to $10,000 total. Okay? Is there anything I would like to tell the whole world? Who do you think did this? Just what do you think? Who, what, where, any clues? If you have any information about the Hester Jackson murder as he arrived at his home on Willis Foreman Road, please call Lieutenant Blaze Dresser or Investigator Calvin Chu at 706-821-1020 or AugustaCrimeStoppers.org at 706-722-1010, where you'll always remain anonymous and get a cash reward. Chairman of the Board of Augusta Crime Stoppers, Douglas M. Day, EA, RIA, is helping area law enforcement find and question the person of interest in this photograph. They were taken at the scene of about $100,000 in damages to a house that was torn apart on the inside, every door kicked in, and a forest fire set ablaze around the house, destroying several valuable trees. They appear to be a white male who is driving a 2001 Pontiac Aztec van, which was yellow in color with black or brown factored rims that are badly painted. The picture was taken on Rollins Road. The white male you see is likely the driver of the 2001 yellow Aztec. The tag looks like the last four digits could be 3552, or it's almost like BCA or 3CA 2552. or 3552. If you think you know who or where this subject may be, please call Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
And now, a story about a brutal beating of a jogger. Dallas, Georgia. The Paulding County Sheriff's Office has set up a reward fund and helps to generate leads about who viciously attacked a jogger on the Silver Comet Trail. A 42-year-old woman was severely beaten and she was found by a passing bicyclist on July 29th. No arrests have been made yet. The Paulding County Sheriff's Captain Ashley Henson tells WSB Radio that authorities hope the reward will prompt a response from someone who knows something about the attack. Henson says the woman is still in a great deal of pain and hasn't been able to give detectives many clues about a suspect other than describing him as being a white male with dark hair. A reward fund has been established at the Bank of North Georgia in Hiram. If you think you know who or where this vicious attacker may be, please call your local police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text and email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and unbeaten.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Last week, the County Commission, after passing the largest tax increase in recent memory, graciously gave the Richmond County Fire Department a well-deserved cost of living raise. But as soon as the Commission passed the largest tax increase in recent memory, an environmental non-governmental organization began lobbying to get more of your tax dollars by trying to take cuts in front of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office that hasn't had a cost of living increase in years. This is the same non-governmental organization that won't return a building back to the marina operator that loaned them a key, and then they changed the locks and kept everybody's stuff. Then this non-governmental organization usurped the authority of the Corps of Engineers by telling the press and everybody else that they told her to lock the marina gate. The Corps of Engineers wants everybody to know this environmentalist did not have the Corps of Engineers' permission or direction to lock the marina gate, and the Corps has asked her to stop using their name. Then this environmental activist is suspected of making a false police report about 6 boats got loose, but later admitted in front of those who knew better that it was only 1 boat that was cut loose, if any. Now, this environmentalist who advocates breaking the law is trying to jump in front of our police for the tax money they need for their long-postponed cost of living raise. When we began sending recordings of the environmentalists saying the county commissioners didn't know what they were doing and their votes didn't count, the environmental activists screeched out a slanderous statement in a public meeting about a member of the press threatening her life. Then she posted another false statement on social media claiming other members of the press were also threatening her life too. We noticed none of these environmentalists are jumping in front of your police during shootouts. They do not pay for their buildings, buses, electricity, water, or almost anything else, but they want the Richmond County Sheriff's Office cost of living increase to go to them too. If you want your police to get the well-deserved cost of living increase they've worked so hard to get, please call your county commission and share this with them. Ask your county commissioners to get the non-governmental organizations that are using county property, employees, and other county assets to start paying their own rent and utilities. Ask them to look into the false statements made by the environmentalists to the press, police, and commissioners. Ask them to stop listening to those whose credibility is now being questioned by more and more in the press. And ask that our police be paid a living wage so we'll stop losing our best trained and most experienced police officers to other agencies that do pay a living wage. If you know of any other white-collar crime where non-governmental organizations are converting county assets and employees into private bank account deposits under false pretense that they have the authority to do so, please call the police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text and email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and stop con artists from sticking their hands in your tax-paid cookie jar. This is an up to $10,000 cash reward for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of any non-governmental organization converting any tax-paid things into their own private property.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
The video you see is a robber who held a knife to a lady's throat in her car at the corner of Green and 4th. He walks by one time checking things out, then comes back after circling around holding the knife with his right hand in his pocket. Then we see him run from the scene of the crime towards Telfair across Green. When we posted this to our Augusta Crime Stoppers Facebook page, we got several responses, and here's what some of our viewers wrote. Jewel Borden wrote, "Last year?" To which Augusta Crime Stoppers responded, "Yes, he's still on the loose, and Christmas is the time a lot more of these guys go shopping. The key is to show you your robber before he robs you." Viviana Renteria wrote, "That's scary, and the fact that no one saw the crime happening during the daytime in downtown is even scarier." To which Augusta Crime Stoppers responded, "There was another person in the car. They saw the whole thing. What do you holler when someone could slit your friend's throat? They were stunned until the robber was gone, then the weight of what happened hit them. Amazingly, not long after we put this out, someone thought they saw him crossing Green Street not far from where he mugged this lady." To which Viviana Renteria wrote, "Obviously, if there was a knife to my friend's throat, I'm not going to risk having her throat be cut by trying to be a hero. I'd let him take our money. I was just shocked that more pedestrians weren't near the area to take more detailed info, especially during the day. Just glad it didn't end fatally." Then Lisa Dill wrote in and said, "I need one of those surveillance cameras." If you know where police may find this black male walking wannabe slasher who ran east on Green, please call investigator Calvin Chu at 706-821-1080 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid. Richmond County Sheriff's deputies report a woman has been shot. It happened on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard near Olive Road just after 5 a.m. Monday. When deputies arrived on scene, they found a woman shot in the lower right leg. The victim says she was shot after being approached by 4 unknown black males in a dark-colored Pontiac Sunfire. The victim told officers they attempted to rob her, and when she ran, they shot her. If you know of 4 black males that run around together in a dark-colored Pontiac Sunfire, please call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text and email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and unshot. The Aiken Department of Public Safety reports the black male you see on your screen walked up to a woman sitting in her car at Walmart and robbed her. Now they need your help finding this suspect. Police say the victim was approached by the suspect while waiting in her vehicle and can't believe he just pulled out a gun and robbed her in front of God and everybody in a crowded parking lot. The victim claims that she gave the suspect an undisclosed amount of money in her cell phone, and then he left to the area in an unknown white vehicle. Anyone with information related to the robbery or the identity of the male suspect is asked to call Crime Stoppers of the Midlands at 800-CRIME-SC. That's 800-274-6372. Where you remain anonymous and unrobbed.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
If you watched Crime Reports and Rewards for a while, we played the knockout game on our show several times. It's where typically younger people try to knock somebody out with one swift punch. But a truck driver in Columbia County appears to be whacking a a retired soldier in the back of the head, exactly where you'd need to hit someone to knock him out. Was this truck driver playing the knockout game with an old veteran's head? It certainly looks like it. What happened was the old veteran had been out running and came into the store to get a case of water. He placed his water on the countertop and was obviously first, but the trucker became angry and whacked him on the back of the head. Fortunately, the old veteran and other people got the trucker's tag number, and when it went on a local TV station, the trucker felt like he needed to turn himself in to try to mitigate the charges that were about to be charged against him. After the old veteran was almost knocked out by the younger truck driver, and the truck driver found that Crime Stoppers was offering a pile of cash for his location, he turned himself in. The gentleman who is suspected of playing the knockout game on an old veteran's head is Eric Rowland. Eric Rowland turned himself in to the Columbia County Sheriff's Office and is probably going to be out on the streets fairly quick. One of our police officers recently commented on the release of Tim Green, who that police officer had to track all over town and put in jail. Almost as soon as Tim Green was released, he jumped right over into Aiken County and immediately raped a lady. Now, the guy that the police officer had to spend a lot of time and risk his life arresting is running all over the area, pretty much doing whatever he wants to do. The raped lady does not appreciate their releasing this very violent, mean, and nasty felon. The same is probably going to happen with Eric Rowland. Eric Rowland violently whacked an old veteran in the back of the head, and because he was hitting him in the back of the head, it looked a lot like the knockout game. Now, Eric Rowland, the person who assaulted the old veteran while he was just trying to buy water, is probably going to be out on your streets driving an 18-wheeler. Can you imagine what happens when an 18-wheeler driver goes berserk and wants to play the knockout game with an 18-wheeler on one of our major highways? Please, if you know anyone involved in the Eric Rowland trial, please let them know that we don't want Eric Rowland rolling around our town in a tractor trailer ready to make any excuse in the whole world to run over everyone in his path because Eric Rowland is having a bad day. If you see Eric Rowland or any of these other people that go to jail and get right back out doing bad things and being violent, please call your Richmond County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, where you remain anonymous and unknocked out.
You've been watching Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous. The criminals don't. If you have any information on these or any other crimes, call our national tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, you'll stay anonymous and could get a cash reward. You can see this or any other episode of Crime Reports and Rewards on the web anytime at crimereportsandrewards.com. Crime Reports and Rewards is a production of Michaels Media.